Hi everyone, as promised, here we are with another work about the latest release by United Racing Design, which is the one we are watching in the footage, the Darsh PX1 for the Endurance Racing X PX mod for rFactor 2. So basically this is a review video, and we decided to go with it. Speaking about the mod, speaking about this release, this car specifically, and comparing it with the other two prototypes, PX cars, available in the mod. So first of all, and very quickly, just to point out that if you are someone who is already racing and competing and, for that matter, widely experienced driving the Aura PX1 and the Revolution PX1 cars, this video review is well, you can watch it and listen to it, but it's not specifically meant for you because you will know a lot more about these cars. You did a lot more laps in these cars than I did, or than we at On Wheels TV did. So you won't lose anything by watching this, but probably you'll know more about this than us because we did a lot of laps in all these cars, but never as much as you in one of these two other cars, in case you race with them. So that being said, first of all, another thing we would like to point out, this is the best mod in the world of virtual simulation. And like some people say, enough said. So because why do we say this? Because this is, and when I say this, I mean about the PX cars and the Endurance Racing X, which are the GTE cars, also by United Racing Design, because this is the mod that most effectively specifies a product of huge quality in terms of graphics, in terms of physics, and in terms of the difference in the performance of the cars and in the behavior of the cars, because they are all a lot different from each other, all of them. So this makes, for us, in our opinion, this the best mod in the world of virtual simulation. And when I say this, I mean all the sims around the world, all the brands, not just rFactor 2. This is the best. Now, more specifically about the car. This is a car that supposedly will be competing with the Aura PX1 car, which is the virtual simulation of the Audi hybrid Audi for endurance, the LMP1 car, and this is the Darsh, but this is the Porsche. Okay, so all of them are virtual simulations of the hybrid cars, although here they are not hybrid cars because it is not possible yet to efficiently simulate the performance of a hybrid engine on a virtual simulation. And if someone told you that that is possible, is not telling you the truth. So the car is a contestant for sure for the Aura PX1. The car is, although these cars are a heavy weight of aerodynamics, the cars have huge volume, huge difference between the rear and the front axle, huge aerodynamic charge, so that they can really be glued to the track. And therefore these cars are not easy to handle in terms of turning, braking, preparing to enter a turn or a corner. These cars are not easy to handle. So, but between this car, the Darsh, and the Aura, this car is quite we can handle it quite okay, and place it in the right apex entry for a turn and use the power and use the engine and manage the engine, and have a lot of fun in the car and be fast and be efficient and save the tires. So the car is really powerful, but when it comes to comparing this with the other car, which is highly performant, which is the Aura, let me tell you this, I was never able to be faster with this car than with the Aura. I'm talking about a difference that can sometimes be in a second per lap, sometimes less. The slightest mistake you do on a turn, if you make a turn not as perfect as you should, that will have a huge effect on your lap time, because this car, as I said, has a high aerodynamic charge, and that does cause some issues in terms of the efficiency of the car in turning, in exiting turns, in entering turns. You have to do it all right. But this car will be, I believe, if we are talking about comparing this car with the Aura, with the Audi, this car will be a little bit slower. However, it will manage a lot better the tires. It will also be less efficient in terms of fuel usage, because this is a fuel engine, the other is a diesel engine. But this car has a better use of the performance of the tires and of the life of the tire per se. This car will make use the tire for a longer period efficiently than the Aura. Will that make this car as performant as the Aura with the plus and the lesses? Maybe. It will depend on team strategy when you use this for racing. It will depend on team strategy. It will depend on the way the driver or the sim racer drives the car. But in general terms, this car will be at the same level of the Aura. However, we did not test this for an endurance event or for an endurance period that would allow us to say that the car is indeed as performant as the Aura, and the Aura is impressively performant. However, it's another amazing work by United Racing Design. We did wait for quite some time for this car to arrive, but we have to understand that this delay is due to the level of accuracy and professionalism that these guys from United Racing Design put in all their work. So congratulations, because you helped a little bit more our saying that this is the best mod in the world of virtual simulation. So we do hope that drivers can agree with us, sim racers that drive this car and the Aura and the Revolution also can agree with us. This car can be in fact a high contestant of this one that we are already watching in the footage, which is the Aura, the virtual simulation of the Audi. This car is a lot different. This car is different in everything. It's different in the fuel usage, is different in the way it handles on track, is different in the way it manages or doesn't manage the tires in comparison with the Darsh, with the Porsche. This car is different in everything. The first thing it crosses your mind when you go on track with this car is that as the lap develops, as the car performs during a lap in a racetrack such as this one, Bahrain, you will understand that this car is or you'll get the idea that this car is slower, because it doesn't seem as light, or it does seem to have a lot more weight. And it probably does, because normally a big diesel engine such as this one will have to be heavier than a fuel engine in the Porsche or in the Darsh. But everywhere on track you feel you are slower, you feel you are with a lot of drag, and you feel the weight of the car everywhere, and you hear the engine and you believe that the engine is slower in its performance. But when you see the lap times, lap by lap, you'll be surprised, because this beast here is highly performant in terms of lap times, and it does, and we believe this is accurate information. At least with us it was like this, and we drove all the cars more or less the same way. It does beat the Darsh in terms of lap times. It is faster. Yep, it is faster. You brake earlier for a turn or for a corner with this car, but you also accelerate earlier, and with the torque this engine provides, when you accelerate, this car reacts immediately and reacts with tremendous efficiency. However, the tires suffer. Here is an example of when you don't anticipate the braking in this car, you will take a lot of time to make it turn, and probably that will make you go out of track for a while. But one thing this car will have is that it will not be as efficient in managing the tires as the Dash Porsche is. So this car is faster, but it will be in a small disadvantage in terms of tire management. So we do believe that all things compared and all things balanced, this car and the Dash will be at more or less the same level, and then it will be a little bit of how the driver does perform better with this or with the other car, and that may cause a slightest difference that in the end may mean that this is better or the other one is better. They are leveled, yeah, with their differences. So here is an example. I'm on track now, and I turn here probably most of the time in the Dash in second gear, and I did this in first gear. But now the car takes all use of the torque of the engine and of the power of the engine. But here again, you have to brake early and accelerate earlier. But then you will make full use of the power of the engine. And for instance, here you don't get to fifth turn, you get to fifth gear only fifth for a little while, but then in first gear and brake really early so that the car can place the front where it has to be to follow the apex of the turn. Here also you have to make first gear to turn and really deaccelerate so that the front may enter the right angle for a clean exit and to fully take advantage of the engine in this straight. But then you have it's something that you'll realize when you're driving. You have to lift the foot a little bit earlier, brake a little bit stronger, and once you have the front pointed in the turn, you just have to push the pedal, and the incredible engine and the efficiency of the chassis will do everything you need so that the car can go where you want it to go. Also here, so in every turn you will have to brake earlier, and you will have to negotiate the turns differently with this car than with the Dash. But in the end of a lap, the lap times of this car will indeed surprise you. So these are the two stars and are the two cars that will be able to win when you race in championships with this mod and with the specifically with the prototypes. These are the cars that can take you to victory. This Aura and the previous one, which is the news in this release, the Dash. And then you have this one. Well, this one is clearly in a disadvantage. This is the Revolution PX1. It's the virtual simulation of the LMP1 Oreca car, and it is a shame that this car is in a disadvantage, because just to hear this engine and to drive this car on track is absolutely thrilling sensation. This is, in my opinion, from all the three cars, this is the one I truly enjoyed the most driving, because this performs like a race car. The other ones are a technology exhibition. They take full advantage of huge aerodynamic development, of a aerodynamic charge, and it's like you put a missile on the track and then try to make sure that it stays on track with a lot of aerodynamic defenses to make it work. But this is the real deal. This is the racing car in its most pure. It's the pure expression of a race car. So this is a true racing car, but it is less performant than the others. It has a less powerful engine, and that's why you have to, in every gear, you have to you take the rev limiter always to red line, or almost to red line. but you can have a lot of fun in this car. You are always flat out with this car. You are always taking it to the limit. But even doing so, you will be always 3 to 4 seconds a lap slower than the others. You will make also a better use of the tires, a better use of the fuel, but the difference in lap times is so big that I don't believe that even though saving more tire, saving more fuel, I don't believe that all these two things together can compensate for the huge lack of power in terms of lap performances, especially when it comes to an endurance race, to a big endurance event with a lot of hours on track. This car is clearly in a disadvantage. Nevertheless, this is a pure racing car, and just listen to this engine and to the way it performs. With this car, you have to accelerate earlier to try and limit the disadvantages of the car, but you will always feel that the car responds immediately, and you have to. A lot of the times, you will be accelerating. You will have to compensate with the steering wheel and try to control the rear, because the rear is really nervous in this car. But it is a racing car, as pure as a prototype could be. It doesn't have the technological advantages of the other two cars, but it is for sure the funniest of them all. So, all in all, United Racing Design really provided us with an absolutely amazing product. This is too cheap for what it is, because this is pure gold, guys. This is pure gold for sim racing, and especially when you take this and put it in rFactor 2 with all the capabilities that the sim has to really replicate what a racing car does on track. And for sure you will have a lot of fun in these cars, for racing or other activities also. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.